Hey, what's going on guys? It's Krishna back at it with another Pokemon Go PvP video. And in today's video, we're just going to be continuing with some more Go Battle League battles from Ultra League. This is day 2. And just like yesterday, I had a pretty good day again with Swampert coming in super clutch for me once again. I'm going to be trying out some different teams down the line, but for now I'm just sticking to Swampert. Although I did try Swampert with a bunch of different teams, but Swampert's been the common factor and it's been working really well for me. So having said that, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and let's just get straight into the commentary. So we're met with a Cresselia right here. It's a Giratina into Cresselia. And I'm just going to be getting off this Dragon Claw, which is going to not do that much, but just trying to chip away. And I do have to watch out for Moonblast though, which is going to be doing super effective damage. And at this point, I decide to not shield because Giratina is a tank and we can definitely tank one Moonblast. Luckily, we didn't get the attack debuff, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to try and get off another Dragon Claw. Do I shield this? Yeah, I shield it because that probably would have come close to taking me out though. So I'm just going to shield that and try and get off as many Dragon Claws as possible before this Cresselia can get off another Moonblast. These Shadow Claws are of course doing super effective damage because Cresselia is part Psychic type. And they decide to shield this, which means that they're close to probably another Moonblast, which they're going to get off right now. Do I decide to shield this though? Yeah, I decide to shield this. I'm actually going against my game plan. Typically, my game plan is to save 2 shields for Swampert. This happens to be one of those scenarios where I decide to burn both my shields early, and that really costs me. So again, today was a pretty good day overall, but again, I didn't get started on the right note, had some really tough losses. So we're up with Cloyster, right? Cloyster is going to be really good against both my Pokemon in the back. So I'm just going to try and get off as many Ancient Powers as possible, doing super effective damage, but it's not doing that much, to be honest. I got a boost at the very last second, which is too little too late. So this is a really tricky situation because both Swampert and Charizard would take a lot of damage from Avalanche, which I'm assuming they would go for at this point because I have no more shields. It ends up being Avalanche, does about 50% of Swampert's health. And I decided to try and they got to the Avalanche pretty quickly because they farmed up on a ton of energy on my Giratina. My Swampert goes down and it's pretty much GG's already because Charizard's going to get hit by another Avalanche. They have a shield as well, which they can safely shield up, and it's going to almost take us out, even though it's going to be only neutral. Avalanche is just a ridiculous move, and it just does so much damage. So they obviously decide to shield that up, and yeah, this is Avalanche coming through, and it's going to do a ton of damage, almost taking us out, and they have a Poliwrath in the back. It's pretty much GG's right here. I don't think I would have won that anyway because both Swampert and Charizard don't have a great matchup against Poliwrath, and we go down pretty quickly right there. So yeah, that's not an ideal start, I guess. I mean, like I said, I just keep changing up a little bit. I love Charizard, but I don't think it's the team that I tried out was the right combination to use it in. So I'm just going to go and shift to Snorlax, and this is where I started having success because I wanted to have 2 double tanks on the lead just to sort of not burn any shields in them, just so I can save 2 shields for Swampert and then just sweep endgame like I was talking about in yesterday's video as well. So met with an Articuno, not a favorable lead at all for us. I'm just going to try and get off this Ancient Power before getting debuffed. Unfortunately, they're getting off the Icy Wind before I can get off this Ancient Power, which is fine. I'm not going to shield. Ancient Power is still going to be doing double super effective damage to Articuno because of its Ice Flying typing. And I'm going to get off this Ancient Power. And this is going to not do that much because we're debuffed. And even though it's double super effective, Ancient Power it's really bad, right? I mean, in terms of damage, it's been nerfed significantly, to be honest. They decided to shield this up, which is nice. So they're going to commit to the farm down, I believe. I'm going to go for another Dragon Claw. I don't assume they'll shield this because they can definitely tank it, or like you can see there. So at this point, I'm just going to bring in Snorlax just to soak up all the energy because Snorlax is almost meant for that. I like having Snorlax as a safe switch option as well, just in case you lose the lead. It's going to just be so bulky and just soak up a lot of charge moves, really. At this point, I don't mind how many times I get debuffed because I'm going to get to switch out eventually anyways. And I'm going to throw this Body Slam before I get debuffed again because Articuno can be quite annoying sometimes because of that debuff. It takes forever to get rid of it. Articuno goes down. Out comes Alolan Muck. So I'm going to go immediately into Swampert and see if they decide to switch out. So they're not switching out, which means that they probably have something in the back which is weak to Swampert because you wouldn't just stay in the Swampert Alolan Muck matchup without I mean, if you have a better answer in the back, right? So I'm going to go straight Earthquake because they have only one more shield, and I want to pressure shield or pressure held. They switch shield, which is absolutely fine. And I'm going to shield right here as well. Like I said, they have no more shield, so I can just go straight Earthquake. I do have to watch out for them potentially trying to switch out on the charge move, which they don't. So I'm just going to go for the Earthquake before I get hit by another Dark Pulse because I want to preserve some health on my Swampert. And Swampert is again set for sweeping endgame. So it's a Giratina. I mean, oh, that's really interesting. I don't know why he didn't switch out because Giratina has a much better matchup against Swampert than Alolan Muck has. So it's pretty interesting tactics by him to just stay in the Alolan Muck Swampert matchup, especially when he had switch advantage. So at this point, I'm just going to go straight Earthquake, and I believe I switch out right here. Yeah, I do. Snorlax still has a sizable amount of health to be able to take out this Giratina, but although it's going to be a little close because these body slams are double resisted, while Dragon Claws are going to be hitting for neutral, another Dragon Claw would probably take us out from this range, and this is actually a pretty tricky situation. It ends up being a really interesting game, as you guys will see. I'm going to try and get off these body slams, try and do as much damage as possible, and they're going to get off this Dragon Claw. They undercharge it. They make a really nice play here. They want to farm me down so they can hit a Dragon Claw into my Swampert, but luckily you can't really farm down a Snorlax with Shadow Claw because it's double resisted and Snorlax is so tanky, and I'm able to farm down, get off, eliminate this Giratina with body slams. That was a really nice, very close game there, very nice play by him. Actually, I think that was the right play from my opponent as well because they needed to do that because Swampert can generate energy pretty quickly. So we met with the Swampert. So this is a pretty neutral matchup. It's a very bait dependent matchup from a Swampert point of view. It's about landing the Earthquake, but I'm going to be able to outpace Swampert to the charge moves, especially Dragon Claw, which is going to be doing neutral damage to Swampert. Just going to slowly chip away along with the Shadow Claw damage. I decided to not shield this because a lot of times they bait, but it ends up being Earthquake, which is fine. We can take one of those. It's still going to do a lot of damage, but I'm just going to try and chip away with Dragon Claws again. Just do as much. And they decided to shield. That was a really interesting play because I didn't think there was a need to shield that at this early. I'm just not going to shield this. I'm expecting a Hydro Cannon bait right here because that's typically the play, right? Once you land the Earthquake, you try and bait with Hydro Cannon. I know I can survive that because Giratina is so tanky. And I'm going to try and get off this other Dragon Claw. We're looking great. They switch into Togekiss. And I'm going to go immediately into Snorlax because Snorlax is a pretty positive matchup against Togekiss because we are able to, spam out those body slams which are going to be doing neutral. Even though those charms are really hurting, I'm going to be able to get body slams quicker than they can get to charge moves. And I don't even have to shield because it's probably going to be an Ancient Power which is going to do almost nothing because it's pretty bad. It also doesn't have stab as well. Getting it off another body slam. Let's see if they decide to shield this up. I'm glad they actually let this go through because both Giratina and Swampert do not have a great matchup against Togekiss. So Swampert comes out and I'm just going to let it go. It's fine. It's absolutely fine because I can just come back with my own Swampert and farm for some energy, which is exactly what I'm going to try and do here. Just get slightly ahead on energy, and out comes Charizard. This is GG's already. We have 2 shields, they have only 1 shield, and I won't be surprised if they probably quit out the match here. So you can almost 60% of the time really, they give up the match right there. People inevitably have something that's weak to Swampert at the back, right? And if you can just save shields for it, it can work so beautifully. So another good win. This team is really working well for me. I think Snorlax in the lead Snorlax in the middle as a safe switch is really providing that additional bulk to the team, which allows Swampert to be able to have that additional shield to sweep endgame, which I think works out perfectly for me. So Giratina mirror right here. We'll have to wait and see if this is Dragon Breath or Shadow Claw. It's Shadow Claw, so it's good. I'm hoping to win CMP right here, which we don't. So I'm assuming this is a 15 attack Giratina because my Giratina has 14 attack. So probably just going to try and throw as many Dragon Claws as possible. I generally don't like shielding in this matchup simply because these Dragon Claws, even because they're super effective, they just don't do that much. So yeah, they're obviously winning CMP, which is not ideal because the next Dragon Claw is definitely going to take me out, and they'll probably win switch advantage because of that. And they're not going to shield as well. They're mirroring what I'm doing right here, which is very smart by them. And it ends up being a double KO, which is absolutely perfect for me. And I think I'm just going to bring out my Snorlax no matter what. I think that's the play here. Yeah, just bring in Snorlax. Okay, this is not a great matchup for me because Melmetal has Superpower, which is going to be doing super effective damage. to my Snorlax, but I'm expecting a bait right here, right? That's typically what Melmetals do most of the times, and it ends up being a Rock Slide, which is absolutely perfect. Even otherwise, I don't plan on shielding my Snorlax anyway, so I'm just going to save the shields for Swampert. And I build up to an Earthquake and go for Body Slam, and we get the shield. This is beautiful. This is the perfect situation to be in. And again, I'm not going to shield, because even if it's Superpower, it's fine. It ends up being another Rock Slide, absolutely perfect for me. And I'm going to try and go for Body Slam again, hoping that they think this is an Earthquake this time, and hoping to burn another shield. We get another shield. Absolutely perfect. 2 shields down, Swampert at the back with 2 shields, exactly the situation we want to be in. Again, not going to shield. This is probably going to be another Rock Slide, going to take us out. And doesn't matter what they have in the back, we pretty much got this game in the bag right here. I'm not going to shield this again, hoping that it's another bait, but it ends up being a superpower, which does a significant amount of damage, but it's still not bad. We're still in a pretty good position. I decided to farm up extra energy because these Thunder Shocks are doing nothing, and also it's debuffed. But I decided to shield this up because we are getting a little bit low. They make a switch into Alolan Muck. Beautiful. Absolutely perfect. This Earthquake is pretty much going to one-shot this Alolan Muck. And not exactly going to one-shot it, but it's good. We're going to be able to get a couple of Mud Shots worth of energy, and then another Hydro Cannon to finish off the Melmetal. I can't tell you this pattern, how many times it works. It just works every single time. I mean, Swampert, I know a lot of people use Swampert in Ultra League. You probably see it in every other team. But just using it for endgame with 2 shields, in my opinion, is probably the best way to use it. You're going to just get so much out of it simply because, when shields are down, it functions so well, right? In a lot of other neutral matchups, especially I figured when you use it in the lead, you might sometimes you take a lot of damage from the fast moves, and then they end up shielding some of those, and then, I've not been able to use it most effectively, especially on the lead. Again, a lot of people use it really effectively as well, but I personally like to have it behind at the back as well. So we're moving above around 2200 range, above 2200 for the first time after like a couple of weeks, I believe. So definitely going positive right here, which is nice. Slowly grinding my way up to rank 9. Grand Bull. This is a terrible matchup. Gonna go straight into Snorlax right here. Snorlax is my safe switch option. Now Snorlax does not have a great matchup against Grand Bull because it has access to close combat, which would do almost take me out, I guess, in one shot. Probably not, but almost would come close to taking me out in one shot. They make a switch into Swampert, which is okay for me because I want this Swampert out of the way. I typically don't like having my Swampert go up against another Swampert, especially on even shields, because that's kind of tricky. So gonna try and get off as many body slams as possible. This is not a winnable matchup anyway, so they win the CMP, which is expected. Gonna let this go through and come back with Giratina, and then hopefully try and get off as many Dragon Claws as possible before they can get to an Earthquake. Even if they get to an Earthquake, or whatever they get to, I'm not planning to shield in this match because it's probably going to be an Earthquake, I think. Yeah, it's probably going to be Earthquake, but I'm not going to shield it anyway. It ends up being a Hydro Cannon, even better for me. And they make a switch. They definitely have another charge move ready to go. I have an Ancient Power right here. I'm going to get this off, hoping to maybe try and get the boost. But they just shield. That's even better, right? We get the shield. Now Swampert has a shield advantage, so this is a really positive situation to be in. And this Grand Bull's going to be able to get off a crunch, which is not ideal. So I'm just going to get off an Hydro Cannon right here. I don't know if they should draw the shield. It doesn't draw the shield, it's fine. So they still have another Pokemon in the back. It's a Cresselia. So this is almost game over right now because Cresselia is way too tanky to be taken out by Hydro Cannons or Earthquakes even. It's not going to do that much damage. And I'm assuming this thing has Grass Knot. If it does, it would be bad, right? I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't have Grass Knot. It ends up being an Aurora Beam, which is fine. It's going to do neutral damage to Swampert, but I'm going to switch into Giratina. Try and build up some energy on Swampert to hopefully take out his Swampert at the back end. So he's going to get off an Aurora Beam right here. This is going to do... And by the time I'm able to get a Dragon Claw, they're able to eliminate me really quickly, and that ended up costing me the game. So we have a Hydro Cannon. I'm winning the CMP because, like I said, I have 15 attack. But he's able to get off another Hydro Cannon, and that's going to be GG. So yeah, it's always difficult to recover from Charmer leads because in those scenarios, you typically safe switch into Snorlax and hope to win switch advantage. If they switch out, that is, and then make sure that you line up your Swampert against the Charmers when shields are down. Swampert doesn't have a great matchup, but when shields are down, Swampert can definitely win because you can spam those Hydro Cannons. So again, a Poliwrath matchup. This is again like we've probably run into a lot of Poliwraths this season. So it's a pretty neutral matchup because these Ice Punches, even though super effective, it doesn't have stab. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage. I'm going to be able to do almost equal amount of damage with my Dragon Claws. I'm going to be able to spam them out as well. So they're obviously winning CMP, which is fine. And another Ice Punch coming through right here. Like I said, I'm just going to try and get off as many Dragon Claws as possible. I'm hoping that I can win Switch Advantage at this point. And they decide to... They're not deciding shield right here, which is not ideal for me. Typically, in these scenarios, I like to burn shields early. Another Ice Punch coming through. It's not going to take us out. I'm going to try and get off this another Dragon Claw. So if they don't shield this, I'm going to win Switch Advantage, which is also not bad for me. So the Poliwrath goes down, I win Switch Advantage. Out comes Swampert. So this is a tricky situation because I don't want to go into my own Swampert because we have an energy disadvantage. So I'm just going to go into Snorlax and try and soak up as much energy, all the energy as much as possible. Try and get off as many Body Slams, hoping to burn a couple of shields, or at least one of them. They make a switch into Armored Mewtwo. So they've actually built up on quite a bit of energy, which is not good for my Swampert at the back. They probably have almost 2 Hydro Cannons, so this is actually an okay matchup for Snorlax because these licks are doing super effective damage. But those confusions are definitely adding up from Cresselia. Armored Mewtwo, I should say. And I do have to watch out for Dynamic Punch, which is going to be super effective. But they go for Psy Strike. This almost takes us out, but if it doesn't, the subsequent confusions will. I probably should have switched it to Swampert immediately, to be honest, because I gave this Armored Mewtwo a little bit of energy to farm. But I'm going to be able to beat it to the Charge move, which is good. Because if they want to get off Charge move, they have to burn a shield. They decide to let it go through. So now this is a tricky situation because we both have 2 shields, but they have a significant energy advantage, right? By the time I'm able to even get to my Hydro Cannon, they're able to get off 2 Hydro Cannons right here. Not going to shield this because I now have to shield the next one. Like I said, by the time I'm even able to get this, they still have 2 shields, so it's pretty much GG's right here because there's no way I can get to 3 Hydro Cannons before they can get to another Hydro Cannon. It's not possible. So yeah, I'm going to get off another Hydro Cannon right here. This should get this second shield, which it does. And even otherwise, I don't think the Swampert is in Hydro Cannon range, to be honest. We face a little bit of lag right here. And I don't know if that was a CMP tie loss because I have 15 attack as well. Probably he has 15 attack. So that was actually much closer than I originally thought because although I think there was a little bit of lag, he probably deserved to win that anyway. So GG's to him. 0-2 in this set. So I definitely have to win the next 3 to have a positive set. So let's see how it goes. We're met with the Clefable. Again, terrible lead in this scenario, just safe switch into Snorlax. Snorlax again coming through right here. They're deciding to stay in this matchup, and that's the positive thing about Snorlax, right? Whenever you safe switch into Snorlax, a lot of people are just confused, and they decide to stay in that matchup for some time, which is ideal for me because I don't want my Giratina to face up against this Clefable. Just gonna let it go through. Like I said, I don't like shielding my Snorlax. Just gonna basically kind of sack it, I believe. They make a switch into Venusaur. This is perfect for me because now my Swampert gets to avoid it. They don't really know that I have a Swampert in the back. So I'm glad this Venusaur came out because as soon as my Snorlax faints, I'm going to just bring in my Giratina really quickly and try and do as much damage as possible. Obviously, don't have to shield anything because both Sludge Bomb and Frenzy Plant are resisted. And a little bit of lag right here. Yeah, this is one of those games where we had so much lag. And they're just able to get a Frenzy Plant right here without me even able to get off a single fast move. But because Giratina has such a dominant matchup against Venusaur, we can still win in spite of that. And Dragon Claw coming through, getting this Venusaur well into the red. Now I want this Venusaur out of here, right? I don't want this Venusaur to see my Swampert because even a little bit of Wind Whip damage is going to be substantial because Swampert is extremely weak to grass. Gonna try and farm this thing down with Shadow Claw, which works perfectly for me. And I'm expecting the Clefable to come back in. So gonna throw the Ancient Power and immediately switch into Swampert because I don't want to get farmed down. They decide to not shield that. So this is again a tricky situation, but they have an Alolan Muck in the back. So this is absolutely perfect for me. Gonna throw the Hydro Cannon right here because I'm expecting a shield because they have 2 shields. I'm gonna shield as well because Dark Pulse is gonna hurt. And obviously, there's no point in saving it at this point. They Acid Spray me. This is a really terrible situation because that's really smart play on their part because now they're lowered my defense and I'm assuming their second move is Dark Pulse because they're definitely going to have that Dark type move to have that option against to counter Giratina. So I'm definitely going to shield this because a debuffed Swampert, Dark Pulse, they Acid Spray me again. This is crazy, right? So I'm just going to go straight for Earthquake right here because they have no more shields and it's going to take it out. And I'm going to switch it to Giratina. This is the reason why saving that Giratina was so important because even though it didn't have too much health, the fact that I was able to switch out and clear my debuffs allowed me to survive these charms enough to get this Hydro Cannon off. So that was really important for me. The fact that I was able to switch out and then clear my debuffs was really super critical as well. So again, that Acid Spray was kind of scary because, I mean, I don't see the viability of running Acid Spray, especially in Ultra League, because you want Dark Pulse and that heavy hitting poison move of Sludge Wave or Gunk Shot, but it's okay, it's a pretty interesting moveset nevertheless. So Empoleon, this is actually a pretty positive matchup because even though it's a steel type which resists both Dragon Claw and Ancient Power, we're going to be able to chip away with Shadow Claws and Dragon Claws and basically outpace it to its charge moves. And it's going to take them forever to get to Blizzard, right? You can get up so many charge moves and do so much damage before even they're able to get there, which is why this is actually a pretty positive matchup, especially when shields are up. When shields are down, Empoleon's going to win because it's going to be able to land that Blizzard. At this point, I'm just going to shield because even if they get off a Hydro Cannon, it's going to be difficult for them to get to a Blizzard without having to burn a shield at least. Because like I said, it just takes so much. It takes, I believe, 9 waterfalls to get to Blizzard, so that's a lot. And I'm able to Shadow Claw farm this thing down. Even though we're down to shield, it's a pretty positive situation for me. And I'm going to safe switch immediately into Snorlax because I don't want, Giratina has a lot of health and I want to properly preserve it for later. Again, they switch into Venusaur. This is absolutely perfect for me because I'll be able to get this Venusaur out of the way by the time my Swampert comes back into the mix, which is great because I don't want my Swampert to go up against that thing. And this is good. I'm just going to let my Snorlax go, try and get off as many body slams as possible, and then try and bring Giratina and hopefully eliminate this Venusaur as quickly as possible, and then Swampert can take care of Clefable at the back. So another Frenzy Plant coming through, just going to let it go, like I said. Going to try and bring in my Giratina as quickly as possible before their switch timer comes back in. Going to throw the Dragon Claw immediately before they switch out because they're going to have to shield if they want to preserve some health on their Venusaur. They make a switch immediately into Clefable and I'm going to go into Swampert. Now this is a pretty positive matchup for me because we're upper shield and even though this Clefable has a little bit of energy, we're going to be able to outpace it to the charge move. So Hydro Cannon coming through, another Hydro Cannon would definitely take it out. Actually, at this point, I contemplated whether I should shield because Meteor Mash would be resisted, but ends up being Psychic, which is great that I shielded because that Psychic would have almost taken out my Swampert and then my Giratina would have gone down to Charms. So that was actually a pretty good shield from my part, and Hydro Cannon coming through. This Venusaur is going to come back and try and farm me down. All I've got to make sure is that my Giratina is not in double Frenzy Plant range because that would be pretty bad for me. And they decided to smartly throw the Frenzy Plant because I was close to a Hydro Cannon, but we're looking great because we have a half health Giratina and even two Frenzy Plants would probably take us out, but they're not going to get there. I'm going to be able to get off Dragon Claw, and then, yeah, that's going to be GG's this Venusaur. So that was a pretty close game, pretty nerve-wracking right there, but the fact that we won the lead with a significant amount of health left on our Giratina really set us up to kind of close it out. So, again, one of those few games where Swampert doesn't exactly finish it off. It's Giratina this time, but it's fun nevertheless. So, yeah, let's see now. I believe these are last couple of battles. No, this is the last battle. This is the last battle of the second set that I'm going to be doing. Obviously, one of these battles got, I believe the screen recording failed for one of those. So, met with an Escavalier. Very positive matchup. Like I said, we resist most of these moves. They make a switch on the Ancient Power into Cresselia, which is good play by them. And but we get the boost. You know, when Giratina Altered gets the boost, it's game over, right? Just look at how much damage I'm going to be able to do to a tank like Cresselia. They're spooked right now. They're going to start shielding because Shadow Sneak, a potential Shadow Sneak could do super effective damage, even though it's not going to be a whole lot. I'm not going to shield this. As you can see, Moonblast, even though it's super effective, does very minimal damage because we have the boost. This is why I love running Ancient Power over Shadow Sneak because even though Ancient Power is such a terrible move, if you get the boost, it can flip so many matchups. So gonna start shielding right here because we are boosted, and I'm hoping that I don't get an attack debuff from this Moonblast because that would kind of undo the Ancient Power buff. So we haven't got that yet. So they're gonna get off another Moonblast right here. I'm gonna shield because I want to keep this Giratina going as much as possible and hopefully try and run through as many of his Pokemon as possible. But our attack did drop, which is fine. We're on neutral right now because of the boost from Ancient Power. I believe Moonblast lowers your attack by 1 stage or 2 stages. I'm not sure. Got to double check that. But we're still, out comes Snorlax. It's absolutely fine because you see even those licks which are doing super effective are almost doing nothing right now because even though the attack is dropped, the defense is still boosted. Gonna try and get off as many Dragon Claws as possible, and they know they can't get off a Body Slam, right? Because Body Slam's gonna do nothing. It's double resisted, and also to a boosted Giratina, it's gonna do almost nothing. So they're gonna have to go for their heavy hitting charge move, which is either gonna be an Outrage or an Earthquake. It's gonna be an Outrage. That's definitely gonna take us out, but it's fine. The Snorlax is almost down to like a quarter health, and they make a switch into Excavalier, which is fine. I'm just gonna stay in because they have loaded energy, and I don't want my Swampert to eat a Mega Horn, which is going to hit for heavy neutral damage against both Swampert and Snorlax, I believe. So luckily we get to an Earthquake. I didn't think I would get there. They probably thought they would beat me to the charge move. This Earthquake is going to do some heavy neutral damage to Escavalier. And we got this game in the bag. We still have a full health Swampert, and out comes Snorlax. Going to get off this Body Slam, I believe. But we're looking great right now because we still have a full health Swampert going up against the Snorlax, and this is going to be GG's. So again, another game where Swampert finishes off. Swampert didn't have much to do in this game because it was all Giratina here. Again, when Giratina altered gets the boost, it is so much fun, right? That's exactly why I liked running Ancient Power over Shadow Sneak, because even Shadow Sneak is not a very good move. It's going to give you slightly better matchups against some of the Steel types and maybe against Cresselia and against some of the other Ghosts or potential Psychic type Pokemon as well. But I think for the most part, Ancient Power, just for this fact that you have a 10% chance of getting a boost, which should completely flip matchups, is I really like running that moveset as well. So moving up to 22-33, that's really positive. And so that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also do let me know in the comment section below what you guys have been running for Ultra League. Have you been running some spicy picks? Have you been running predictable meta? I would love to know that as well. And please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's going to help me quite a bit at this stage. I'm trying to grow as much as possible, and hopefully try and bring out as much quality content as possible, and hopefully try and keep improving every day in terms of the quality of content that I'm trying to provide. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.